What is up, guys? Luke Deutschlander here with another video. If you guys like my videos, make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. So being yesterday's video pretty much broke all the phone flipping groups and the internet, today we're going to be talking about something a little less dramatic, and we're going to dive right into it. So what I wanted to talk to you guys about today is a few phones that you really should still be buying. Now, they're older phones, but they're still very profitable. I'm going to give you a name of each phone and why you should still be buying them and kind of what they sell for and what you can pick them up for. Now, a lot of people don't buy older phones, and I understand that time is worth money and that our time is also worth money, and so for that reason being, sometimes we kick aside these older phones. But something that I wanted to bring up here today in today's video is a phone that I recently picked up that I actually wasn't going to go and buy just because initially when I saw the title, I was like, you know, that's a really old phone. I really don't want to deal with that. So what I got here, guys, is an S6 Edge Plus for Verizon. I picked this up today. And, you know, initially, I thought to myself, I really don't want to go buy this because it's such an old phone, so I wasn't even going to look it up. And I looked it up, and I was like, wow, because I haven't bought one of these in a while, they're still selling for a really great price. Now, given this one is in pretty nice condition, there really isn't anything wrong with it. It's actually in very nice shape for the age. I picked it up actually only for $15, and it ended up selling today for 99 bucks. So, really good flip. I mean, although it's not necessarily the largest profit margin, Galaxy S6 Edge Pluses, for whatever reason, still have a pretty good demand, and the reason being is probably because of the fact that it has a larger screen. So basically, you can get into a name brand Android device, although it's older. You can get into a name brand Android device that actually has a larger screen without having to pay the premium price of the newer Androids. Now, you know, eventually they stopped making the Pluses in the Galaxy just because of the fact that they really weren't a big hit. However, this one seems to still have pretty good demand. So picked it up, like I said, 15 bucks, sold it for $99. So that's a pretty awesome profit margin there. This is also kind of a good list for people out there who are saying that they don't really have the money to get started in phone flipping, or they just don't have the capital to buy some of the newer, more expensive phones. Well, this might be a better route for you guys. And, you know, it's something you may want to consider is to maybe start focusing your ads on older phones that have, you know, low cost to buy and a very high return on your, you know, cash flow or your investment that you actually have to put out to get the phone. Wonderful phone to buy, sold very fast, picked it up today and sold it today. Basically, like I said, you can pick them up for, you know, anywhere between $15 and I would say $45. I'd say 15 bucks. I got a little bit lucky. But on average, you know, they're selling for anywhere between $89 to around $150 if they're absolutely mint. So Galaxy S6 Edge Plus, that's the first one on the list you guys should really be picking up. The next one that I'm going to talk about is kind of an in-between phone, and when I say in-between, it's not as popular as iPhones, not as popular as Samsungs, but it's a good phone that you can buy and you can pick them up relatively cheap, and that is the LG G5. When the LG G5 came out, there was quite a bit of hype around it, and so there's still a decent following behind it. On average, these sell for around $70 to $100, so they're still, you know, a decent phone. It's still a $100 bill. You can't say no to that. Then you can pick these up on average for anywhere between $15 to $40. It's not that hard to sell people on them just because of the fact that they're starting to get old. And so with that being said, it makes them kind of an easy sale. And the nice thing is you really don't have to front much capital to buy these, and you can still flip it for a $100 bill. So be watching out for the LG G5, guys. The next one on the list is iPhone 6 Plus. Obviously, you guys probably knew there was going to be an iPhone product on this list. How could there not be? The iPhone 6 Plus is still really desirable, and I'm not talking about the iPhone 6s or the iPhone 6s Plus. I'm talking about just the regular iPhone 6 Plus. Reason being is, at this point, guys, all of these older phones on this list, pretty much people don't really have an emotional attachment to them anymore, and they've gotten their use out of them, and so they're probably going to part with them, you know, for relatively cheap. iPhone 6 Pluses sell for an average still of around $110 to $130, sometimes more if they've got the box or the charger, and you can pick these up pretty easily for around $40 to $65. Now, Apple's, of course, have a little higher resale value and seem to have a longer rate of actually holding the value of what it's worth. So that being said, you are going to have to pay a little more for iPhone products for the iPhone 6 Plus. Like the other ones, it seems like Android and LG can be picked up quite a bit cheaper just because of the fact that people know that, I don't know, iPhones just seem to hold their value longer, and it's kind of becoming a trend, which is good because it helps us get the Samsungs a lot cheaper and the LG and the other, you know, kind of Android operating based phones, Google Pixels, etc. Those aren't that old yet, but just kind of throwing that out there that iPhones always seem to carry a little bit more of a premium price tag. Doesn't always mean that they sell for more. They do sell quite quick, but just kind of keep that in mind also when you are buying an iPhone. It is going to be usually a little more expensive to get. Doesn't mean you can't strike a deal every once in a while, but iPhones generally you're going to pay a little bit more for them. But the good news is they always sell really fast, so it seems anyways, and they do have a very good sell value. So just be watching out for that. Another kind of quick thing to talk about is don't be buying phones that are too old. If you can't find any comparisons on eBay, probably means you shouldn't be buying them. And I'm talking about iPhone 4s, Galaxy S4s. Most of these kind of phones, especially if they're cracked, are pretty much worthless at this point. I had somebody message me the other day with an iPod Classic, and it was one of the very lowest gigabyte models. And so I looked it up. It was worth like $7. And, the person wanted 10 for it and wanted me to drive there. So I kind of broke it down for them and just said, I'd really love to buy it from you and everything, but I just can't just because, it's too old and I'm not going to be able to resell it for anything or sell the parts or, anything about the device. So make sure you guys aren't getting swindled either when you are looking for older devices. Don't go too old and then cost yourself money or yourself time by looking at this stuff, just because of the fact that once technology gets too old, nobody really wants it. Now, of course, if you come across, say, a mint iPhone 3 in the box or something crazy like that, it might have some kind of collector value. You might want to look it up online. It does happen every once in a while, but it's not a very common thing. Some other phones that you guys might be interested in is sometimes, believe it or not, some of the older Motorola Razr phones or some of the BlackBerry phones actually have a decent amount of value to them if they're not cracked or broken. So that's something else you guys kind of want to watch out for. I know nobody really talks about this because of the fact that they're not smartphones, but believe it or not, a lot of people still use the older or the original Motorola Razrs just because of the fact that they're reliable and they're very simple. And for that reason, some business people still actually use them. And I mean, they're a reliable and good phone, and they're actually worth decent money. Same thing with the BlackBerries. Even though not a lot of the BlackBerries or the older BlackBerries have smart screens on them, a lot of the people came accustomed to the straightforward BlackBerry keyboard, and for that reason, they still hold a value in some people's eyes, and people still like to buy them. And there is still a small parts demand for the Motorola's and the BlackBerries, so you can resell them for all types of reasons, and you can pick them up really, really, really cheap because typically it's older people that have them, and they either don't know the value of them or they simply just don't really care. So that being said, make sure all of you are looking out for older phones. Don't completely disregard them. Like I said, I was really shocked today that I picked this up for 15 bucks and then sold it for 99. I'll be shipping it out tomorrow. So that was pretty nice. And today I was doing some remodeling in my house, doing some painting, and just kind of getting everything ready just to make sure everything's perfect here. That's kind of what I do. I'm sure you guys can see in the background, all this is fresh paint. It's been painted for a while, but I still got to get the trim up, and I'm just constantly doing stuff, and I like to do that in between phone flipping. It's always good to invest in your own stuff and, just kind of try and improve the value of a property if you own it or you live there, or even your own personal house, whether you're going to keep it forever or rent it out or whatever it is. I always like to stay busy, and I got this call today for this phone, and like I said, it kind of just put a smile on my face to get this for 15 bucks and then flip it for, 100, and I just wasn't expecting much out of it. I was expecting to sell it for like 40 or 50 bucks, and yeah, so it was kind of cool. So just wanted to throw that out there. Basically, don't judge the old phones by their cover or by their age. They still sell good, so make sure y'all are picking those up. I hope you guys found this video beneficial, learned something, and I hope it's a good refresher for the veterans out there. So thanks for watching. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.